There are moments in life when the people you laugh at become the very people who teach you what humanity truly means. This is the unforgettable story of a father who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders while an entire town laughed at him, and of one little girl whose love was so pure that it changed every heart around her forever. Before we begin, if you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Library. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Every morning, as the bright golden sun warmed the quiet streets of Maple Ridge, a familiar figure walked slowly through town wearing faded jeans, patched shoes, and an old brown jacket that had clearly survived many winters. His name was Rowan Mercer, a young single father whose tired eyes revealed years of sacrifice. Holding tightly to his hand was his 7-year-old daughter, Ivy, whose cheerful smile somehow shined brighter than the morning sunlight. While Rowan looked exhausted from working endless construction jobs, Ivy greeted everyone with innocent waves, never noticing the cruel whispers surrounding them. People chuckled as they watched Rowan push an old bicycle loaded with worn tools instead of driving a truck. Some laughed at his patched clothes, while others mocked his quiet nature, believing poverty was something shameful instead of something painful. Life had not always been this difficult. Years earlier, Rowan had dreamed of opening his own woodworking shop, but tragedy struck when his wife passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him with a tiny daughter and overwhelming medical bills. Instead of giving up, Rowan sold everything he owned except a small family home that was barely standing. Every dollar he earned went toward Ivy's education, healthy meals, and keeping a roof over their heads. He skipped breakfast most mornings so Ivy would never know what hunger felt like. While the town judged the holes in his shoes, they never saw the empty refrigerator he quietly ignored every night. Despite their hardships, Rowan never allowed bitterness to enter their home. Their tiny kitchen was always filled with laughter as they cooked simple meals together. Every afternoon after school, Ivy would help her father water the small vegetable garden behind their house. She believed those little tomatoes and carrots were magical because her father grew them with love. Rowan never complained about the aching pain in his back after long days lifting heavy materials at construction sites. He simply smiled whenever Ivy hugged him, believing her happiness was worth every sacrifice he made. Unfortunately, not everyone saw his quiet strength. Some parents discouraged their children from playing with Ivy because they considered Rowan a failure. Teenagers occasionally mocked him as he rode his rusty bicycle through town. Even adults who should have known better whispered cruel jokes whenever he passed. Rowan heard every insult, but he lowered his head and continued walking, refusing to let hatred shape the example he set for his daughter. Ivy noticed the sadness hidden behind his gentle smile, but she never asked why people were so unkind. Instead, she squeezed his hand a little tighter every time someone laughed. One sunny afternoon, Ivy's school announced a special Family Appreciation Day celebration. Every student was asked to prepare a presentation about the person they admired most. Excited children planned speeches about successful business owners, doctors, athletes, and community leaders. Ivy immediately knew exactly who her hero was. Night after night, while Rowan quietly repaired broken furniture for extra income, Ivy carefully wrote her speech using colorful pencils and decorated every page with little hearts and drawings of her father working beneath the warm daytime sky. When the special day finally arrived, parents gathered inside the brightly decorated school auditorium. Rowan almost decided not to attend because his jacket looked old and his boots were covered with dried cement from work. He feared embarrassing Ivy. But when she looked into his eyes and begged him to come, he forgot his own insecurities and proudly took a seat in the back row. As student after student spoke proudly about wealthy parents and successful relatives, polite applause echoed through the room. Then Ivy walked onto the stage holding several folded pages. She looked nervous, but the moment she spotted her father sitting quietly in the last row, her face filled with courage. She began describing a hero who never wore a suit, never owned a fancy car, and never became famous. She explained that her hero woke up before sunrise every day so she could eat breakfast before school. She shared that he always pretended he wasn't hungry whenever there wasn't enough food for both of them. She told everyone he fixed neighbors' broken fences without asking for money because he believed kindness always returns someday. She admitted that every birthday gift she ever received came from months of secret overtime work her father never mentioned. Then she looked directly at Rowan with tears filling her eyes and said that the strongest man in the world wasn't rich because he had spent everything he had making sure she never stopped smiling. The room became completely silent. Parents who had laughed at Rowan only days before slowly lowered their heads. Teachers wiped tears from their eyes. Even children who barely understood the meaning of sacrifice sensed something extraordinary happening. Rowan himself couldn't stop the tears streaming down his weathered face. For years he had hidden every hardship from Ivy, believing she was too young to understand. Yet somehow, she had noticed every sacrifice he had tried so hard to keep invisible. As Ivy finished, she held up a simple drawing showing herself holding her father's hand beneath a bright daytime sun. Across the top she had written in colorful letters, "My dad may not be the richest man in town, but he is the richest man in my heart." Not a single person remained dry-eyed. The applause started quietly before growing louder and louder until every person in the auditorium stood on their feet. Many people cried openly, ashamed of how they had judged a man whose greatest achievement had never been money, but unconditional love. News of Ivy's heartfelt speech spread across Maple Ridge faster than anyone expected.